being able to listen, accept without judgment is a very interesting and compassionate thing to do with another human being. That art of listening is a wonderful phenomenon and allows wisdom, presence, compassion to deepen within yourself. Listening is an art. Being able to listen without judgment, listen without thought. You're sitting there with someone, they're talking to you, maybe even about their problems. Being able to be deeply rooted in presence and just be able to listen. It's an art that many people don't really focus on, but becoming conscious or becoming aware, becoming more deeply rooted in presence, the art of listening comes up, and it's a part of being there with the person. Sometimes people ultimately, I've had people just in the store, grocery market, doing something, and it's usually an older person, sometimes a younger person. They just come up and start talking. They feel maybe the spaciousness that you are. They feel that within themselves, so they feel attracted and open to be able to talk to you. And they just start talking, and it's about whatever their mind is saying or whatever the situation that's around us at that time, and being a open window, let's call it, to your surroundings, people around you, situations. Some people can sense that, and then their ability to talk to you becomes easier. And sometimes people will begin to talk and express themselves. And it happened to me before. Actually, just the other day, I was in the store and a guy just walked up to me, and I was just there, present, aware of my inner energy field of my body, looking at the items in the store. So presence was there, and I have never seen this person, but he came up to me. Presence may have arose in him, and he recognized that presence within him was the same presence within me. And so he said to me, "I think I've seen you somewhere." I assume he was talking about the presence, because occasionally most people experience presence. They just don't know what it is. They just feel like it's sometimes probably even daydreaming, where they're just daydreaming, and presence is it's quite different. Daydreaming looks more like, well, maybe that's presence. Because I'm very used to just going into presence. The daydreaming is more of a stare of into nothingness. Presence is more of a conscious awareness state where you're still looking around. You're not. Everyone has done daydreaming, so I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about when I say conscious awareness is looking around with minimal amount of thinking. Daydreaming is zoning off into nothingness, possibly only looking towards one way, and thinking is happening. And sometimes it's very little thinking, but it's a little different than presence. And so he's probably experienced presence many times, especially when you first wake up. Most people, you wake up, you're just there for a second. And that little bit of presence there reminded him of the presence within us at that time, reminded him of the presence. So he was ultimately speaking to presence when he said, "I've seen you somewhere." So he's seen the presence that was transmitting, or that was being transmitted between both of us. And we had a little conversation, and that was that. But ultimately, being able to listen, accept without judgment is a very interesting and compassionate thing to do with another human being. People will just appreciate that, even if you said and if you didn't say anything. Just being able to listen without, most people, when you're having a conversation, sometimes you're talking and they're already ready to respond because they're not really listening. They're listening only to respond. So they're gathering the content and then hurrying up and making a response. And then it's an ongoing thing. And then the conversation becomes back and forth. There's never really, not really conscious, it's not really a compassionate conversation. And some people will even say things to you and it's like won't even keep their word about what they say because it wasn't conscious of what they weren't conscious of what they really said. So then you go back and say, "Do you remember what you said to me?" And they say, "Oh, they may remember, they may not." But that art of listening is a wonderful phenomenon and allows wisdom, presence, compassion to deepen within yourself. And you won't really have meaningless conversations. Most of your conversations will probably be a little deep, a little wise, a little slower, because you'll give the person time to speak, and you'll, even after they're done speaking, it won't be immediate response. It may even be a small gap of space before you respond, because the thoughts may still be conjuring up your response. And usually the response is quite deep. For example, someone asked me, I work with children a lot of times, they ask me, what do you think I can do with my child in this behavior? And maybe a slight presence, a slight awareness, pause maybe, but and usually it's not just a response as if you think you know. It's a question like, well, what do you do usually when the child does this? And then they come and say some more things, and it gives presence, it gives consciousness, it gives that wise response a chance to be born ultimately. So notice it within yourself when you talking to someone and they're talking about, they may not even recognize any conscious or anything, but they're talking about something, and notice that you can listen through presence, listen through stillness, and accept what they're saying without judgment. And they'll be able to even sense that, because some people won't talk to certain people because they know that they'll judge them. But some people will talk to certain people because they can sense that there's an openness there. It's the art of listening. Thank you for joining me.